Welcome back to Grassroots Media, and welcome back to this week's edition of the Pettit's Market Evan Monroe Show, where we cover everything on the range with the West Green Buffaloes. As always, I'm joined here with Buffaloes head coach Evan Monroe. Coach, how you doing this afternoon?
Doing good.
It's another warm one out there today.
A little bit. We'll be all right.
You got a second day of practice this week.
Yeah.
Second day. Did you practice yesterday?
Yes. Had early practice yesterday. Come in. You know, some of the boys are out of town. You know, long weekend.
Yeah.
Played on a Thursday. Parents say, hey, we'll go out of town a couple days. Won't hold that against them. But, you know, had a good little early practice yesterday. Come in. Got it out of the way. Let them enjoy the rest of the day. So it's a nice, good little day for us.
Did you enjoy your Labor Day break? I know you got 4 days out, I think.
Did. It was nice. You know, I didn't enjoy Thursday with my routine being off a little bit, being out of school, then having to come do pregame and all that, and it not being on a Friday. But Friday, got to spend time with my kids. It was nice.
Thursday, did you have to show up to work, but the kids were out?
Yes.
And then you have a game to coach that night, too.
Yes.
That is a weird day.
Yeah. It messed with my routine a little bit.
I'd bet going forward, Labor Day is going to be one of the weeks that you dislike the most, too, just because of how out of –
Probably.
Yes. Just how out of whack it is.
Yeah.
It's the one that I dislike the most, too. I think I might have mentioned that last week, too. But we'll jump right into the football aspect of the interview. That game Thursday night, too, played against the Chuckey-Doak Black Knights. First county game of the year, first home game of the year.
Second county game.
Yeah, it is second county game. You did play North Green first game. I'm not used to the first game of the year being a county game.
Yeah.
But first home game for sure. You got the square off.
Second home game.
What? It's like the North Green game never happened in my head. I don't know why I forget about that game. It was, yes, correct. I'm off my game today.
It's all right. I'll keep you in line.
I'm off my game today. Thank you.
I'll keep you in line.
But go ahead and talk about that game with Chuckey-Doak. Struggled throughout most of it. Didn't get to finish. That game was marred by sadness in the end too. So just take us through the whole entire night.
You know, we didn't have a great week of practice. You know, it was one of those things we kind of come in and just kind of went through the motions. We were beat up from Cloudland the week before, just short week. You know, we just didn't have a great week of practice. We come out Thursday and just kind of laid an egg. We didn't execute. We didn't go through what we wanted to do. Didn't really move the ball, didn't block well. And so, you know, when you have a game like that, there ain't a whole lot of good things to say about it. You know, second half we had a little bit better effort. We come out after halftime and, you know, we were moving the ball a little bit. We just kind of shot ourselves in the foot. Was proud that we finally punched one in at the goal line there, fourth quarter. So, you know, we went actually out and executed like we should have done the whole game. And, you know, we just had that lightning in a bottle on those three guys that just could score anywhere at any time, and they did.
Mm-hmm. And then you always hate to look back on a loss like this too, where you see the score and you have to watch the film and learn from it. But what are some of the things that you learned from that game that you want to improve on going forward?
You know, just execution of a lot of things. You know, there's times we, you know, if we're blocking gap and blocking down, we let guys cross our face and they get penetration. And, you know, it's something we've really preached with our offensive lineup. And I know I kind of pick on those guys, but that's the group I take care of when we go offensive time. And so, you know, I work the most with them, and so I have the high standards for that group. And so just execution was a big part of it. There was times we didn't get lined up right, times where our heads are in the clouds, not really focused on the game. We just had a terrible game. That's all I can chalk it up to.
And looking at the offense, too, you had 137 total yards on offense. Dawson had 80 of those through the air. And then you did have a good game from Braden McCamey. He had 3 receptions for 48 yards. He had 2 good receptions of 21 and 16 on one drive, too, but that drive stalled out. So talk about some of your offensive performers, too, and who you were happy with in the end.
You know, I thought Dawson had his best game as a quarterback so far. You know, the first half we didn't get a whole lot going, but second half he come out and he executed really, really well. You know, Braden had a pretty good game. You know, it's something that he was playing tackle, and we're like, you know, he's got pretty decent hands. He's a basketball player. He knows how to go high point something. So we bumped him out to tight end, and that transition was easy for him. It didn't really change much of his responsibilities, and for him to be able to go up and get a couple balls was good for him. You know, give him a little bit of confidence and give Dawson another target that he's comfortable throwing to, knowing that he can throw it there and he's going to catch it and come down with it. So, you know, but Dawson as a quarterback had by far his best night. I think our receivers stepped up for him Still got to work on some of our execution with our routes and things, but overall, our passing game, I was much more pleased with it than the first 2 weeks.
And the good news is for you, Chuckey-Doak is no longer a conference game now, so that does not count towards your conference record. Through 3 games so far, if I'm correct on this, you haven't played a conference opponent yet.
No.
Okay, I'm going to be asking the questions a lot of times now that I've been wrong twice so far in the interview. You do have a conference game coming up next, though, against Eagleton, a very unknown opponent. It's a team that I don't know a lot about. It's a team I'm sure you don't know a lot about. It's a team that I'm sure everybody watching this doesn't know a lot about, too. I'm sure you've got some insight for us, too, that you'll let us know about. We need to get a quick message in here before that. So we'll be here right after the break to preview that game this upcoming Friday night here on Grassroots Media.
Remember those days when life was simpler and every corner held a treasure just waiting to be discovered? Pettit's Market was a place where memories were made and where stories were woven. Here you'll find more than just goods. You'll find a piece of the past wrapped in the embrace of today. Pettit's Market is where neighbors become friends, friends become family, and good food and love holds everything together. So step inside, make memories, eat good, and leave happy. Pettit's Market, the little store with a big welcome.
Pizza Inn offers contactless buffet to go with JoJo's Family Feast or anything on our menu for carryout. We also honor birthday parties and cater to businesses and large events. We make it easy. Call us today. Pizza Inn Greenville.
Welcome back to Grassroots Media, and welcome back to this week's edition of the Pettit's Market Evan Monroe Show, where we cover everything on the range with the West Green Buffaloes. As always, I'm joined here with West Green head coach Evan Monroe. So you're going into the unknown this week.
A little bit.
You've got Eagleton. Like I said, I know nothing about them. A lot of people watching this probably don't know anything about them. You can look up where they're located. You can look up their school colors, their school mascot.
Yeah.
But you may not know anything that they run. You might not know what they put on the field. So please give us some insight. Tell us what you'll expect from them Friday night and what you think we'll see.
They're not a bad football team. They're a young football team. I think they have 2 seniors that have transferred in.
Okay.
But everybody else is junior or younger, where they're a new school. They're kind of like Northview Academy was a few years, where they started with a freshman class, then a sophomore class, and then their junior class, and that's when they started playing a varsity football schedule, and that's what they're in now. So the past 2 years, they've played a JV schedule. Okay. This year, their first year of varsity football. They're not a bad looking team. They've got some big kids up front. They got a couple linemen that have got a little nasty about them. I think somebody said one of them was a state finalist in wrestling last year as a freshman. So, he knows how to move, and he's a big, strong kid. Offensively, they run a spread offense. They'll come out in 2x2, 2 wide receivers each side. They'll come out with 3 on one side, 1 on the other. They'll run a lot of zone. Defensively, they mix the looks up a little bit between 4 down linemen, 3 down linemen, moving guys around, try to give you different looks, kind of confuse you a little bit. But, they're not a bad-looking football team. They got some good-looking kids. I know they're close to being over the hump. They've been really competitive. In the 2 games that I've seen on them, they were competitive ball games. And so, we got to come ready to play Friday night. About to say Thursday.
Yeah.
Got me in a funk.
What's their mascot?
I think the Royals.
Are they the Royals? Okay. The Eagleton Royals. That's pretty clever. You don't hear Royals a lot around this area, so that's a unique one. Their colors are kind of royal blue, too, is it not?
I think they're royal blue and white.
Okay.
So they got a turf field, and the big E in the middle is like kind of cutting diagonal, and the top half of it is white, and the bottom half's royal blue. And so, it'll be nice for our kids to get to go play on turf.
First time this year?
Yeah.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah. Compared to going to Cloudland, this will be like, Cloudland was is a little rough in some spots, and So get to go play on turf. I think they'll be excited for that.
I'm surprised you go up to Cloudland and you can find a flat surface up there on the mountain.
I think they found the one
one
relatively
flat,
flat area and kind of did some grade work to make it mostly flat. But you know, it's the joy of playing football in the mountains.
That's true. That's no knock on Cloudland.
No,
That's,
no.
That's a joke towards Cloudland. But going up against Eagleton too, you talked about them having a spread offense. You talked about their defense a little bit too. What are some of the things you kind of prepared for, looking at the schemes they're going to throw at you?
You know, the things we've prepared our guys for. You know, they run the zone, so we've got to make sure we're staying in our gaps, make sure we're playing gap sound defense, make sure we're lined up right. You know, in our locker room, we have a big buffalo, and around the buffalo it says the big four, and it's alignment, assignment, stance, and execution. And so if we go do those 4 things, I think we'll be just fine.
And as always, 3 keys to the game every single week. What are they this week?
We got to take care of the ball. You know, we've shot ourselves in the foot all 3 weeks with turnovers. So I'd like for us to come out, take care of the football, have no turnovers, win the turnover battle. I'd like to see us finish drives. You know, there's been times we've spit and sputtered, and we've kind of had a hard time getting ourselves down the field. So we need to go execute better offensively and
Score more points than the other team?
yeah, you know,
Okay.
score more points.
That's been the third one the last 2 weeks.
Hey, you know,
Didn't know if anything had changed.
No, you always want to score more points than the other team. You know, we got to defensively limit explosive plays. You know, the Chuckey-Doak game last week, we gave up a lot of explosive plays, and you know, that's defeating to try to come back when you give up a 60-yard score, a 70-yard score. You know, that's, as a defensive coordinator, it makes you just want to throw your hands up, and I mean, what do you do? You know.
Yeah.
And so we got to go create more explosive plays than the other team. So control the ball, execute well, limit explosive plays on defense.
And as always, score more points than the other
Score
team.
more points than the other team.
Come out with a dub on Friday night.
Absolutely.
Friday night. Yes, everything's Friday night this week. Thank goodness.
7 o'clock kickoff instead of 7:30.
7 o'clock this week. I'm glad you know, because I would have showed up at 7:30.
7 o'clock.
Been late and missed the whole entire first quarter and most of the first half. So thank you for that.
welcome.
If you're a West Green fan, West Green supporter, as always, show up to Eagleton. That's an academy, correct?
I think it's Eagleton College and Career Academy or
Yes.
something like that. They got a big, long, fancy name.
We'll call them Eagleton for the moment.
Eagleton,
So
that works.
Show up to Eagleton, 7 o'clock kickoff. You'll watch the Buffalo square off against the Royals. I hope they're called the Royals. We might have just botched everything with Eagleton this whole video. If anybody from Eagleton's watching, we apologize. We'll get it right come next year. But that's all I've got for you. Thank you once again.
No problem.
It's been a pleasure. Thank you all for watching this week's edition of the Pettit's Market Evan Monroe Show. We look forward to seeing you next time here on Grassroots Media.
Go Buffs.